Hello friends. Welcome. Today we will recap the 2022 American crime, thriller drama, Where the Crawdads Sing. Spoilers alert. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. The movie starts with a scene dated October 30, 1969, in Barkley Cove, North Carolina. Two boys are riding their bikes through the woods. They come across a marsh where they find the body of a young man named Chase Andrews. The boys call the police and are met by Sheriff Jackson and Deputy Perdue. Police doesn't find the dead man's footprints. The two observe that Chase fell from a high tower, either due to falling through a broken hatch door or because someone may have pushed him. Autopsy determines that the cause of death is bang on head while falling. There are no fingerprints or tracks found. They also found some fabric that doesn't come from the victim's clothes. People in town learn of Chase's death and suspect the Marsh Girl, a young woman named Catherine Danielle Clark Kia. In a bar, people discuss about Chase Girl when Tom Milton arrives and order his drink. The guys sitting next to him ask him about his take on Marsh Girl, to which Tom replies, "I am retired and that's not my business anymore." People continue talking about Marsh Girl, making Tom a little surprised. Police continue their search and go to Kia's house. They knock the door but nobody answers. Kia is then seen hiding behind a tree. Kia learns that people are looking for her, and she attempts to make her escape, but Jackson and other officers ride by the swamp and despite her best efforts, she is caught. Kia is taken into custody, where she is met by lawyer, Tom Milton. He tells her that she is apprehended for the murder of Andrew Chase. He tells her that he know her by Catherine Danielle Clark, but in Barkley nobody calls her by that name, instead she is known as Marsh Girl. He tells her that in order to help her, he needs to get an idea of who she is. Kia is quiet but begins talking and telling her story before Tom leaves. Story: The flashes back to 1953. As a child, Kia lived with her older siblings Murph, Mandy, Missy, and Jody, and their abusive pa. Her father used to beat them for no reasons. After being unable to endure him any longer, the family slowly starts running away from home. Ma goes first, with Kia chasing after her. Murph, Mandy, and Missy follow suit later, and Jody eventually leaves. He tells Kia to go where the crawdads sing, if she needs to get away, but Kia insists on staying in the hopes that Ma might come back. Kia spends time with her father fishing, the few times where he is not cruel to her. He gives her a knapsack so she starts collecting seashells and feathers. Near the marsh is a boy named Tate Walker, who is kind to Kia and becomes her friend. Kia feels stronger and tells her pa that she is hungry. Kia goes into town, where the only people who are kind to her and don't judge her dirty, unkempt appearance is shopkeeper Jimmy Madison and his wife Mabel. Mabel encourages Kia to go to school after giving her new clothes and a candy. She goes to school but decides to turn back when she runs into Tom, who directs her toward the school. While Kia attempts to be educated, the other kids are nasty to her over her appearance, so she runs away and never goes back. Kia goes to fishing with Pa and sees Tate, to which Pa tells her not to trust anybody. Back at home, she finds a letter in the mail from Ma, but Pa takes it and reads it before burning it so Kia cannot see what it says. She saves the ashes of the burnt letter. Pa goes back to drinking and essentially abandons Kia, leaving her all alone in the house. She started living her own, catching mussels and going to town to sell them to Jimmy and Mabel. Mabel not only gives her clothes and shoes but also teaches her. Back in the present, she gets clothes from Mabel in the jail. Tom tells Kia to plead guilty so she will get 10 years in prison rather than death penalty. But Kia refuses and tells him that she will not say anything that implies guilt. She will not go to prison. In the next courtroom scene, the lawyer for the Andrews family does his best to condemn Kia, which most people already have done due to public opinion and the persistent rumors of her nature. Tom does his best to keep Kia calm and to prove that there is no justifiable evidence to prove that Kia was at fault for Chase's death. The movie then flashes back to 1962. As Kia got older, she began drawing shells and other things she would find in the marsh. She finds random gifts and one day she is met by an older Tate, meaning he was the one leaving those gifts for her. He helps her read and write so she can document her findings better. She learns all about biology and plants. While there is rumors in the town that Tate is dating Kia, so his father confronts him with the question, but he denies, saying that she is her friend. In the meantime, deeds collector learn about her. An officer asks Jimmy about her, but he tells him that she lives with her father. Tate encourages her to send her drawings and writings to publishers. The two get closer, with Tate telling her his own backstory involving his mother and sister. His mother and sister died in car accident in Nashville, while they were there to buy him a birthday present. Kia and Tate fall in love and kiss each other. Tate takes her to a river to celebrate her birthday. They almost make love for the first time by the river, but Tate changes his mind for fear that he might ruin Kia's life more. Tate is accepted into college, so he goes to tell Kia and tell hers that he will be leaving her for a quite long time. Although she is upset, she allows him to spend one more night with her. Before leaving, Tate gives Kia a list of all the publishers and encourages her to send her findings. Time goes by and now she prepares herself on July 4th for Tate's visit, but he doesn't come to see her. She cries by the water and goes home to tear off the pages from her painting book. Back in the courtroom, Sheriff Jackson testifies in court. He tells that there are no footprints or fingerprints on body or on the tower, meaning someone destroyed the evidence. Tom confronts Sheriff that because of the low tide that night, it is possible that the prints were wiped out. And absence of footprints does not suggest a crime. And absence of fingerprints are because the grates are always open. Movie now flashes back to 1968. Kia meets Chase Andrews as he is with his friends near the water. He approaches her and is friendly with her. He asks her if she wants to go for picnic with him and she agrees. In the meantime, she finds out that she has to pay $800 in back taxes to keep her property that was bought by her grandfather. Kia and Chase begin their own relationship. They meet on the beach and Chase starts kissing, but as he tries to go further, Kia refuses. He takes her to the fire tower. He asks Kia to take him to her house. They both go to Kia's house while she is a little nervous. Chase looks around her house and she asks what he wants. He tells Kia that she is beautiful and he won't do anything unless she agrees. They go to river and kiss each other with love. Kia receives letter from publishers who wants to publish her book. Chase takes Kia to the river where they talk and drink. Later they get cozy. He asks her to come to Asheville with her. They stay in a motel where Chase takes Kia's virginity, even though it is short and unsatisfying for her. She later gives him a seashell necklace, which is brought up later in the court case because the necklace was not found on Chase's body at the time of his death. Chase's mother blamed Kia for killing Chase and taking back the necklace. Tom reminds her that police thoroughly checked Kia's house and necklace was not found there. Meanwhile, back in 1969, Tate returns home from college and finds Chase and Kia together. Later, he overhears Chase speaking vulgarly of Kia. They nearly fight until Jimmy breaks them up. Tate tries to go to Kia's home, but she reacts angrily and throws rocks at him until he apologizes and explains himself for his long absence. He tells her sorry for everything and gives her a feather. She comes to forgive him. Sometimes later, while out in town, Kia finds Chase and wants to invite him over, but she discovers that he is with another woman and is engaged to her. Kia sends her work to publishers, and she has an official book on her drawings of seashells and feathers published, which earns her some money that allows her to keep and renovate her house. She is visited by Jody, her brother. He had enlisted in the army and tracked Kia down after finding her book. He says he lost all contact with their other siblings and would not recognize them if he saw them. Jody also tells Kia that their mother had tried to reunite with her children, but Pa threatened to beat them all if she came back. She eventually died of leukemia. Later, Chase confronts her at Jimmy's shop, then follows her home after that bad encounter at the shop, and he attempts to beat her. After she strikes him back, Chase attempts to assault Kia until she hits him in the face with a rock. As she runs away, she yells out that she will kill him if he goes near her again, which is heard by a witness who later testifies to this in court. Kia returns home to find that Chase got there first and trashed the place. In the evening, Tate comes to visit Kia and she tells him that she is invited to meet with publishers over dinner. This is brought up again in court, as Tom argues that while the hotel where Kia stayed was close to the bus station where she could have theoretically snuck out to lure Chase to the tower and kill him and come back. But Tom argues that it doesn't make much sense that she would do so. In her cell, just before the verdict is reached, Kia insists to Tom that while the people in town were cruel to her, she never harbored any bad feelings toward them. She also tells Tom she remembers him from her childhood and how he was one of the few people kind to her. Before the jury makes up their mind, Tom and the Andrews lawyer give their final statements. Tate, Jody, and the Madisons are the only ones there in support of Kia. Tom asks jury to make the decision based on the facts, not the rumors. A verdict is reached, and the jury finds Kia not guilty of Chase's death due to lack of sufficient evidence. While Mrs. Andrews weeps, Kia's supporters cheer for her, and the judge tells Kia he is sorry for the time she spent in prison. Before going home with Jody, she gives a final smile at Tom. Kia goes on to continue her romance with Tate, declaring themselves married. Time goes on, and they have a family, and Kia continues to write more books. Later, they attend Jimmy's funeral together, where Mabel tells Kia that Jimmy loved her the most. Kia and Tate grow old together, and in her final moments, Kia rides her boat out into the marsh where she appears to see the spirit of her mother, as if to welcome her in death. Tate later finds Kia dead in the boat. After going through her belongings, he finds a book with a poem in which she writes that sometimes for the prey to survive, the predator must die, along with a drawing of Chase and the seashell necklace, stained with his blood, confirming that Kia really did kill him. Tate throws the seashell into the marsh to keep Kia's legacy untarnished. The end.